Hey, I'm Nate Bargatze. I'm excited to bring you some of the funniest comedians you haven't met yet, but that's about to change. We filmed this live in Nashville, Tennessee, and yes, everyone promised to behave. This is the Nateland Showcase.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot. And man, I'm very happy to be here. And I'll tell you, right off the bat, weird things happen to me, you know? People who don't even know I'm a stand-up comic feel comfortable enough to come up on the street and say, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. I'm like, that is really rude. I don't go up to people I think are weird looking and go, Lutheran, Lutheran, Lutheran. I don't know if you've ever hung out with a pack of Lutherans, but it gets weird after a couple of weeks, that's all I'm saying. And my friends, you know, say to me, well, it's the way that you look. Okay, I get that, but I choose to look like this, you know? Like, I get up in the morning, check my reflection in the mirror. I'm like, that is the look I'm going for. Nailed it again, man. Let's go to the bank. I got some stuff to do, you know? So, all right, man, I'm doing well on this side of the room. That's good. Because if you get a look at me, I got a weird eye going that way. So that's cool. Over here are Lutherans, I guess. I don't know. Sorry. But no, you know, even before I was a comic, I had a lot of time to kill. But as a comic, I have a lot of time to kill. And so, wow, I like where you guys are laughing because sometimes they're not at a punchline, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to slow down. Anyway. But what I was saying is, I make my own fun. Like, I will run out of a barber shop and go, don't go in there. I'm like, that guy is crazy. These are extensions. He tackled me and groomed me. And I'll go to job interviews because I've got time to kill, you know. Go to some town, go to a job interview. They always ask the same questions, like, how many words can you type a minute? I'm like, well, it depends on the word. I'm really good with A, I'll tell you that. I've never counted. And, you know, you guys are looking at me like, didn't we see this guy in the alley earlier today? That was me, man. I write these jokes in the dirt and then come in and try them out. But no, something else I like to do for fun, I will do the weather door to door. Yeah. I just knock on someone's door, and if they answer, I'm like, it's pretty hot out here today, huh? Wouldn't you like to see me coming up to your door, you know? You're looking through that peephole going, man, if this guy's selling cookies, I'm buying, yeah? So, here's a part of my act that's new, and I call it Today's Topics, and I just take jokes, you know, that you would see, and I have, jokes about it. But it was weird. I was doing a show like this. Someone stood up in the back of the room and said, what gives you the right to talk about today's topics? And I'm like, wow, that's a really weird place to draw a line in the sand, you know? But I'll tell you guys, I was getting a newspaper delivered, and I hadn't paid for it. So I called the newspaper office, and they put me on hold, which I thought was weird, because I'm like, how busy could they be at a newspaper office in 2025? But the guy comes back on, and I go, hey, I'm getting a newspaper, and I didn't subscribe. He looks at the list. He goes, you're not on the list. So I was like, well, tell your guy that, because I'm getting all these newspapers. So they're piling up in my apartment, and I'm walking through my apartment, which actually looks a lot like this. I've got a weird little riser and a stool. But I'm walking through there, and in my head, I'm like, what am I going to do with all these newspapers? And then just out loud, I said, read them. And that's what makes me qualified to talk about today's topics. So, wow. Oh, thank you. Thanks for sticking with me on that one. We took a little weird detour, but here's an example of today's topics, like global warming. I believe in global warming. I don't know if you do or you don't. I believe in global warming, and I think the big problem is oil. And it's not that we need to conserve it. We need to use it all up, because they're not going to do anything until it's gone, you know? So, knowing that, I bought a 78 Buick Electra. I put it up on blocks, and I'm running it 24/7. And I'm doing it on stolen credit cards, because trying to bring down Bank of America too, man. They're bringing me down with that $39 late fee, you know? I pay my bills on time every once in a while. That's what I like about you guys. We got it from here. No, I'm late on my payment, you know, so they sock me that $39, and then I push all the buttons and everything to where you can finally talk to someone. And I said, hey, what makes you think I can pay the $39 late fee when I couldn't come up with the minimum payment, you know? Maybe you should lower it by $39. Let me have another swing at it. So now I tackle the tough issues, and like the national debt. Every time I hear a politician talking about the national debt, the number one thing they always say is, I don't want to see our grandchildren paying off the national debt. And I'm like, I do, you know? That is the only plan that makes sense so far, man. Let's put these kids to work. Hey, Billy, here's a new game called Sewing Machine, son. I want you to sit down here and see how many of these shoes you can make in 12 hours, and I'll tell you when you get to the next level. It's a whole new scoring system. That was a left side of the room joke. That's cool. I'm going to get the whole room to laugh at once, and my weird eye will straighten out just for a minute. I'm going to go back to the weird eye now. But, you know, my friends who've seen today's topics say to me, well, you only talk about the problems. You don't give any solutions. So I'll give some solutions. We were talking about global warming. I ride the bus. I don't think that comes as a shock either. I mean, you should see me at a four-way stop, you know? People are like, which way is this guy going to go, do you think? And that's when I'm walking, so, you know. So I ride the bus, and weird things happen to me, and the bus magnifies it. But here's an example. Like, say that stool is the bus stop, right? It's 8 o'clock at night. And also, I'll mention, I'm from Colorado, but I don't ski because I'm already sliding downhill in so many other areas of my life. But I keep the poles because they're handy for picking up trash. And that's good for the environment. But I'm walking. It's 8 o'clock at night. It's dark out. I walk up to this bus like you normally would. And there was a woman there. And I startled her. And again, I get it. I'm a unique-looking individual. I'm sure when I walked out here tonight, you guys were like, what the heck is this wizard guy going to tell us? You know? But I walk up to the bus. And on a side note, if you ever go to a bus stop and there's a beer there that's open, don't drink that beer. I mean, that's what happened to my eye, man. One sip of bus stop beer and it went out. Yeah. So I walk up to this woman and I startle her and she gets really close to me and she goes, "Are you all right? Do you have somewhere to go?" And I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm at a bus stop. I'm going places. So, you know, being a nightclub entertainer, I ride the bus late at night. One night I'm riding the bus. It's late at night. This guy stands up on a rolling bus and asks me for $1. And first of all, you know, if you're asking me for money, I'm going to question your analytical skills. I mean, I don't look like a high roller, but this guy asked me for $1. I try to be polite. I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. I don't have $1. And he cops an attitude with me and starts talking all tough, you know? He's like, hey, man, why don't we take our shoes off and do a little boxing? I know. I'm like, well, I'm the same way. I'm like, that is a weird request, but you know what? I'm on this bus for another 35 minutes. Let's box, you know? So, as he was taking his shoes off, I beat the heck out of him. You know, I'm like, hey. Oh, thanks. Thanks, you guys. So, and I want to be honest with you guys, I'm not even a comic. I came in to get out of the heat for a while. Said, give me a beer and let me tell my stories. No, I really am a comic. Now, what I want to talk about is, you know, I was on a walk the other day in Colorado. Well, it was in the winter, and it was cold out, and I needed a lighter. I have a fireplace. I wanted a lighter. I didn't have a lighter. I go into this grocery store, and I find these 3 mini Bic lighters all packaged together. I'm going to get those, you know. And I usually go through the self-checkout because I know the codes of the stuff I'm buying. But this day, the 15 items or less was wide open, so I'm like, I'm going to go first class. And I just slide him down there. The guy scans it, and he asks me for my ID. And I'm like, seriously? And he goes, yeah, you have to be 18 in this state. So I play along, you know. I fish out my ID. I hand it to him. I go, dude, I'm just telling you, if I'm 17, it's been a tough road, man. I got to get this. You should just give me the lighters, bro. I've been struck by lightning, hit by a car, got bit by that mosquito that makes your head small. It's been tough. So he looks at my ID, hands it back to me, and says, you barely made it, which I thought was kind of funny. But then I lit him on fire. I did a show last night. Some lady asked if my hair was natural. I'm like, where the hell would you go to get your hair done like this, man? She said, PetSmart, and that was weird. Thank you all so much. So much fun. Enjoy the show.